in a newsroom.
Cool. That was baby's first steps in the boardroom, or the newsroom. I don't think I'm getting hired anytime soon. Oh my God. We got there eventually. That's what matters.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
All right. Technically we normally do a show here, so I'll probably start it right around here. We're not doing a hard professional cut or anything. I'm gonna just chop it, tune it, we'll send it later, and then we'll call it a day. Sound good?
Well, welcome to the show.
Yeah, welcome to the show, guys. Sandy is out for the night. He is still in Italy, living it up, having a great old time. Come join our Discord if you ever want to come see any of the photos that are getting posted or the things that we're doing. The food he's been posting lately has been absolutely absurd. Have you looked at the food?
Crazy.
Oh my God.
Yes.
So I was showing Joss the other night and she's, I want to take a cooking class in Italy. What? I was like, yeah, no, I think everyone does. Like, I would love to go take a cooking class in Italy.
I'd love to go take a cooking class in any European country. Are you kidding me? France, Italy, Germany?
Yeah,
yes,
seriously. Please, and thank you. But yeah, it is. It looks like Sandy's living his best life while you and I are back here actually being able to watch the good old LCS live, unlike Sandy.
Doing the cool things,
So Arkham, he is currently in. Well, he was in Rome, but I think he was stopping by Venice, and then do you remember the other one, Curly?
Not in the slightest.
He was going to one other place, but I know he was stopping by Venice as well. Maybe it was Naples. I think Naples.
Might be. He was going on a little Italy tour.
Yeah. Nice little quick week trip. So he's having a grand old time. Anyway, what have you been up to, Curly? How's your week been, man?
Oh, dude, my week, honestly, it was a hectic week for sure. I got to work at my old bar, but as the IT guy I am now, and help them install a new POS system.
So,
and to the people that invented Toast, I hate you. But at the end of the day, you do make a good product. It's just such a. It was. To make it short, so on Wednesday, my boss is like, "Hey, you're gonna go do this for your old bar." It's kind of like a little bit of a favor because the owner of that bar and the owner of my business are homies.
I was gonna say, so was this a contract thing or like more of a favor thing?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
But every one of us over at the IT place were like, "All right, this is gonna be a quick install. We just switch out the old thing, we switch out the new thing, and then whatever."
All right.
If you ever...
Oh no. I can't tell if this is my internet dying or if it's Curly's internet dying. Well, I'm gonna give him a minute or two here, and for the time being, while he stares you deeply in the eyes with very intense passion, I guess quick rundown on my week. Oh, is he back? Oh, he's.
I'm back.
Oh, okay. Is it your internet or is my internet?
I think it might be. It might be me. It might be a little bit of both. We'll figure it out as we go along. But for the meantime, I'm judging by the fact that I froze on stream, but the stream didn't freeze. It's me, so I'm gonna turn off YouTube.
Okay.
Sad. But anyway, what ended up what was supposed to be like an hour or two morning project took 3 days and ended up being 16 hours altogether.
Holy crap. Okay.
Yeah, but it was a fun time. Aside from that, though, because then on Saturday, I just had a hermit night. It was so nice. I literally just ended up spending like 2 hours listening to some like nostalgic like anime and nerd songs from like 2014 to 16 era. Like I don't know if well, actually no. Never mind. I was going to say a certain thing, but then you would know what song I submitted for our music.
Yeah, don't spoil me.
But one of those songs on that list was something I listened to Saturday night.
Okay.
And then I just kind of ended up like scrolling through like my Steam library and thinking about games I haven't played in a minute. It was just real nice.
Nice.
It was
Cool.
a good time. Yeah. How about you, Nox? What's going on with you?
This past week was just been busy with work, and then this weekend, wife threw a party, and so I we'll be honest, they were doing like arts and crafts stuff. I'm not an arts and crafts guy. Like I appreciate it, and I'll like do anything my wife wants to do with her at any point in time. But when it's like a group of all of her friends and they're all sitting around like making clay earrings and stuff, I was like, we'll let y'all do your thing. I hopped on Cloud's show, Cloud Siddiqui, and I ended up disputing with him for about an hour and a half, which should have realized what it was because that was what the title of the show was. But I just was like, oh, you just want me on your show? Cool. We could just talk league and stuff. And it's like, no, he's like arguing with you on every point. He's taking like the devil's advocate position on everything. And I was just like, I was not mentally prepared for this, dude. And that's on me. That's my fault. I'm sorry, but I was not mentally prepared for this. And so, I thought it turned out pretty good, though. I thought him and I had some pretty good debates, and we were really trying to flesh out some like thought processes on like how teams were playing and how certain players were doing and what teams should be doing going forward. And I think there was actually a lot of interesting discussion, although not all of it like great arguments, because like I said, some of it was devil's advocate position. Some of it was just me not being prepared properly. Some of it was also me having a couple sips of a little drinky drink the entire time. That's how it goes. So, that was my Saturday, and then I got brunch with my family on Sunday, watched the game, was very pleasantly surprised as you know what, let's just, you down to get into it?
Let's do it.
Alright, baby. So, ignoring the ending of Game 1, and maybe the beginning of Game 1, middle of Game 1, fantastic. I loved it. Yeah, it was very, like, I was very nervous, though, because it was like, man, Cloud9 is just getting all these leads and all these advantages. I think they had 6... I think there was only, like, one... Did we only get one grub the entire series?
Oh, my God, yeah. No, we did not get grubs. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, there was no grub priority whatsoever. But like, that was the main thing. Like, Game 1, like, the grub priority was clearly going towards Cloud9. They even had Drake priority due to the way the lanes shifted out. And so it was just like, oh man, this is not good. But then we got the team fight, and I was like, okay, we're back in it. Or actually, no, that's not even true. They had the first team fight at the Drake, and they like wiped us. I think it was like 2 for 5, and I was like, all right, just go next. I had completely written the game off, and then we had the fight. I was like, oh, okay. And then we had Baron right after. We got some towers, we got some gold. We took another fight. And then at that point, we were running it down, and it's like, we're there. We're so there. Like, what was going through your mind? So like, did you think we deserved it?
When we took that fight, I'm like, are we going to do this? Are we going? Keep going. And I'm like, no, it's so close.
Yeah. Dude.
And then it was close. And then there was a part of me that thinks, after all, that we still could have won that game.
Yeah,
hard.
Yeah, I really think at a certain point when Masu died, I think maybe we should have probably just taken the inhib and call it good, because we still had so much tempo advantage going on at that point. But I really do see the window, and maybe there was like a couple things that could have been changed in the actual final seconds to maybe have ended the game right there and just called it a 3-0 day on the spot, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Both Red and Arkham kind of talk about the grub priority as well as like our team composition, pointing out the fact that we were a Smolder Iron team, and this is true. Like, it's a very heavy scaling team. I think what was maybe more my worry initially was the dive that happened in Game 1 onto both Masu and Busio. That felt really bad, and I felt really put us behind. Because I don't think we had, like the grub priority is one thing, that's fine. If you're going to trade grubs for, like, Drake, that's cool. That's just the decision that you're making in the moment of the game. But what really sucked in Game 1, I thought, was the fact that the dive happened, and we lost Drake priority, and it's like, okay, you're starting to snowball a little quickly. Did we manage to hold it down to 4K? Yeah, but honestly, in my opinion, 4K is kind of a lot when it's around the 15 to 20 minute mark. Like, that starts getting really difficult to deal with. We pulled it out in the team fights, like, and that's great, but like, I really don't want to be getting to that point, and that was kind of like what I was thinking throughout the course of the first 20 minutes of the game or so, until we started really pulling off those team fights. But yeah, the whole grub thing, like, don't get me wrong, like, I guess just grub priority was not on the docket list for us that game, and it was extremely on the docket list for Cloud9. That's all well and good. Just the Game 1, I got a little paranoid about the Drakes, and the fact that even still, I think there should be a little bit of mid lane priority or something to maybe just sneak a grub or two here and there. Because if they're getting all 6 in all the games, like, that's rough to deal with. Even, like, 5 or 4 is, like, a little bit more manageable, I would figure. You actually play the game, by the way, Curly, would you agree? You know how it feels to play against grubs.
I mean, I usually know how it feels to play grubs because I am a top lane split pusher kind of guy. Or even I'm in the bot lane, I default to split pushing. It's my favorite thing. So I make sure my junglers get grubs in my solo queue games if I can. So yeah, no, it doesn't always feel the best to deal with that.
So, but yeah, that's game 1. Game 1 ended. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, ah, shit. like this is bad. This is really. I was very demoralized.
I mean, here's the thing. I was like, dang, because like, even in the last seconds, the 1v3 Smolder versus everyone else, I'm like, you can do this. There's no way you can do this. You gotta like have hot hands. But like, you can do this, and then he couldn't do it. But like, he did. But like, there's a way. There's a way that goes right. Like, you know, the freaking one scenario from Infinity War. Like, there's how many do we win?
There's like 13 million possible opportunities. How many of those do we win? 1.
Unfortunately, we did not.
We did not get that one. Okay. we were in like the 10% percentile, but it's not that one.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, we got it right the next time.
Yeah, and so actually going into game 2, when you saw pretty much, it was almost like a run back of draft. Obviously, there were some changes a little bit, but like, what were you thinking going into game 2?
I was like, why are we just copy pasting? And it wasn't just us. I was like, why is everyone just copy pasting from the first game?
Yeah, like both teams. Like, it wasn't a straight salty run back, but it like the concepts of what both team comps did were basically the same. So it was like, I don't, especially because we lost. Yeah. And I mean, the early game was not in our favor either. It looked
like it was a salty run back because we even hovered Ashe for a vast majority of that lock-in before the Kaisa pick.
Yeah, and so for me, I was like, okay, what, like, something has to change here, right? Like, it's one thing to run the draft back, but if you play the same way you did in the first game, there's no guarantee that you're going to get the team fights again. Like, if they skill check you on this round, then you're just down 2-0. And so I was extremely paranoid about that. I will say, I thought the way Inspired played a little bit, the Ivor in this game was a bit different. He actually had lane presence. I think if you would, like if we had the stat for jungle presence, because normally, like I remember week 7 versus Cloud9, there was a stat that popped up showing that Inspired had the lowest jungle proximity out of any jungler in the league for mid laners. In fact, he was lower than the lowest because he was 9th. So, I guess I don't know.
Shopify Rebellion for that one.
Yeah. So, whoop-de-doo on that. But no, I think if you had actually checked the jungle percentage, it would have been actually fairly high this game. He was actually visiting Quad's lane. He helped Quad get a kill. Well, actually, he got the kill, but he got a kill on JoJo again. And so I was like, oh, okay. And then he immediately went top lane. He got a gank on for Bwipo. Didn't quite get the kill, but burned both biscuits in a health pot. Burned the flash as well. Dude. It made Bwipo's lane so easy. It was like
Asante not giving us the takedown.
Yeah. So
just the literal frame of it almost hitting him.
It was so close. But it was such a different Inspired, I thought. Like, because normally we're so used to seeing Inspired do classic jungle pathing, what he was doing in game 1. And then in instances where it's like, yeah, your bot lane got punished, or your top lane gets punished, like, and then he falls far behind. It was very MSI-esque in my opinion, but the only difference here is we actually skill checked him a little bit in the team fights and we almost made a comeback. This one, I thought, was Inspired really making a effort to put himself on the map, make himself known in lanes, let the laners know, hey, it's not just Blabber who's like a jungler in this game. I am here too. And I was like, wow, this is a nice switch up. I don't know if you have any different thoughts on that, but that was kind of my thought process watching Game 2.
Game 2 was a roller coaster, because at first I'm like, yay! And then we still, like, even though he did that, we did not get any grubs, we didn't get Herald, and we gave away 3 Drakes.
Yeah.
And we were against the wall. I was like, You can go back and check the chat logs in various Discords. I was doomers and Curly. I was like, I need to apologize to Inspire because I'm like, man, the way he plays this game is hurting us. You know? And I was like, why are we so restricted? And then the turn of the tides happened. Then Smolder activated. And I was like, no way.
Yeah.
Are we doing this again?
Yeah, and so that was the thing, right? Was basically Quad came back online, which Quad got player of the series, if I remember correctly, right? At least I hope he did.
And justifiably.
Okay. Yeah, okay. That's what I want to hear, because Quad was playing out of his mind. But I was just, I think, honestly, a little bit, and again, I need to go back and kind of look a little bit more at like the pathing on game 2 a little bit and see why we were still giving up Drakes and the Grubs on this particular instance. But I thought Quad got a little bit more ahead. He was able to push lanes a little quicker and got a little faster CS. He was just more present a little earlier on in the game compared to game 1. And so when the team fight started rolling in, Quad's performing. You have Masu, who's on his like signature Kaisa, who's able to like kind of dash around and like kind of just dance around the enemy team. Team fights are going our way. Bwipo's able to dive in the backline, being an absolute menace with the Croc and getting support from the Ivern on Inspired. So yeah, I thought all of that combined, like the extra like little bit of push in the jungle presence, things that you and I have been asking for, Sandy's been asking for this whole split of Inspired just showing up in the lane a little more and like giving just a little bit of the extra tempo advantage to some of the laners, I thought really mattered this game. I thought that it was honest to God deal breaker. And so I loved seeing that. And so we ended up going on and closing out the game from there. And it was like 1-1. Like, okay, we got a series on our hands. I'm still not confident that we're going to close it out. But in my head, like, the noticeable change in seeing how Inspired was playing in terms of, like, his play style, I was like, okay, I think there's a bit of a switch up here. We have a chance.
Oh, yeah. No, it was... That really changed the tide of how I felt about kind of like the whole series, because I was like, all right, especially once we like actually managed to turn around and close it out and finish the walk down mid lane this time.
Right. So going into game 3, yet again, same exact almost concept from Cloud9. We run the Renekton back yet again.
Just the handshake Renekton Cassante between Thanatos and Bwipo. They're just like, they had to play the same game 4 times in a row. I feel so bad for them. I would go insane.
What did you think about the Amumu?
So I need to be perfectly candid. Game 3 had the least of my attention. Because I was... I had to watch this in the middle of my D&D group. This was the time during the session where I had to be the most active. Because it was... we split the party. And it was me and one other dude. And it was our time. So anyway. So Game 3 is kind of a blur to me. I don't remember what really happened.
I think...
Someone needs you to recap it for me.
I'm like actually kind of looking at it on my phone right now. Oh, this was the game that basically it started out slow again, and really it just came down to the fact that Inspired got the Baron steal. Like, we lost the fight in mid lane. We had multiple attempts where Busio was on the Nautilus, Bwipo was on the Renekton, both trying to dive the back lines, and we just couldn't get a pick. It just wouldn't happen. And so it happened like twice in a row. One time with Busio, one time with Bwipo, and then finally, I think it was after the Bwipo death, Cloud9 rushes Baron. They're like they're running it down. Blabber does not have smite critically. He used it in the team fight, and then basically Cloud9 just pauses Baron. They pause Baron at around like 1.4k, and it's just like hello. And I want to say it was Vulcan who was the one like kind of holding it down, making sure that Inspired couldn't get in the pit, and then he lands the Q, and he does this whole fly-in, right? He just fully into the Baron pit, and he gets the smite off right as it's right in smite range, and then FlyQuest wraps it up nice 3v5, because like they're getting chunked so badly from Baron, and it was just kind of done from there. And I think, honestly, That was kind of the mental breaker for Game 4.
I think I actually remember that moment because then I remember Busio chasing down Thanatos.
Yeah.
Just like getting that kill on him.
He's diving the top tower.
You are not leaving me.
Yeah, he's like diving the top tower and he hunts him down on the Nautilus queue. So no, that was like the basics, because I thought we had a great early game yet again. We had some great dives. I thought that the lane swap went well into our favor. Funnily enough, I thought Cloud9 was the one who initiated it, which is another. So that's something I want to talk about here in a second. But I thought we had some great ganks. We were pressuring really early, and basically we had actually a decent early game advantage. I was like, okay, cool. This is what I really wanted to see. And I just, in general, was extremely happy with how the early game went. And then basically started kind of heading downhill as like things started grouping up. It was like, oh no, we can't team fight. This is the first game we can't team fight. Like the Amumu's being an absolute pain to get through. They're just shielding everything and no one's dying and we keep getting picked off. And honestly, it was just that massive swing in the Baron fight. I really do think that broke the series open. It's funny to say that the series broke open in a Game 3, which, I mean, it's also like a deciding game, right? Who has the advantage going into Game 4, 2-1, so on and so forth. But I think it completely broke Cloud9's mental. Like, man, we had a 5v3 in the Baron pit, man. Like, they had 2 people dead. And it should have just been game over from there. And you let Inspired in, you get the Baron, you get the Smite steal off, and then you get aced from a 3v5. Like, mental's done. I'm out. Bye-bye. I'll see you next week, Dignitas or 100 Thieves. Because that's basically what Game 4 was. At that point, it was... What was the final kill total? 12-0?
14-0. With a nearly 9k gold lead.
Yeah, so... Like I said, I don't even think there's much to talk about in Game 4. Game 4
was...
What I do want to talk about, though, is, very interesting fact that Cloud9 was the one that was initiating lane swaps. Do you have any thoughts on that? Because typically, in my head, I think it's us who should be doing it. We want to be the ones doing the lane swap.
Cloud9, did you not see us at MSI? Why are you trying this now? Why are you learning in playoffs? If you want to get to the world stage, this is the worst time to experiment with that.
Yeah, like, I wonder... I really wonder if it had something to do with the Cassante-Renekton matchup, because I know the way Blippo can play Renekton into Cassante, it can be unfavorable for the Cassante, but I really don't think it's that big of a deal. On top of the fact, I'm more prone to give Berserker and Vulcan in lane, credit where credit's due. They are very good laners, whereas I think we sometimes struggle in the 2v2. If I'm Cloud9, I want Berserker and Vulcan playing against Masu and Busio in lane. I think they unless the matchup's giga bad, right? I think they're typically the better laners. I want that matchup. So it was for me, it was a little confusing that they were opting for the lane swap, where Masu and Busio are getting to just skate scot-free into the mid game, tons of gold, tons of items, and then they get to play these team fights out, where I do think Masu has been the better player in that regard. And I think Busio's also had massive improvement this year in that regard.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I do not know what was going on in the game plan. I don't know why they thought... what decision led them to wanting to do the lane swaps. But if you want to stay in playoffs, maybe don't do that next time we face...
Yeah,
if we face again.
We'll see in that regard.
We'll see what happens there.
So
Game 4 was beautiful.
Yeah, there's not really much to comment on. I think everyone just played their roles beautifully. I just crushed them. All the team fights. I think JoJo was also having a really rough series as well. Constantly
I mean, they stuck him on the Corki four times in a row, too.
Yeah. Something's got to switch up in that regard as well.
They just didn't want to touch the solo lanes at all. And then the one time they switch up Blabber, I think they just had a really stale game plan. I think that's part of what it was.
So
because
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm kind of mumbling over you. I'm just because that's how baffled I am over Cloud9's game plan. I don't know what they're doing.
Yes. All I'm saying is I always had faith in us. So
This is true. You are what did you actually? You got it right, didn't you? You said 3-1, or did you say 3-2?
I said 3-2. I said
Okay.
the limits. You have the score right, just the way it was wrong.
Yeah.
But no, I just the fact that we actually could have, or already kind of had a game won as our entire series against them the last time, where we were doing well but didn't quite win. That's like I said, we had just faced them recently. We knew we can do our homework, come back, and that's what we did. I don't know how it's going to translate to this next week, because we haven't faced this team since
week 1.
June.
It's literally been, what, 10 weeks? 11 weeks?
A while.
Yeah, it's been like 10 or 11 weeks since we last played Team Liquid. So, okay, yeah, let's wrap up the Cloud9. We can get into Team Liquid here. So...
Well, all I'm saying is, I know that everyone's talking shit on Blippo for inting and all that stuff, and I will say he's definitely volatile, but, like, even in our losses, those late-game team fights, he pulled off some crazy moves with Renekton.
Blippo stepped up this week. This is what you and I were talking about last week with Sandy, was I needed Blippo to lock down the pick. Happened to be Renekton. That's cool with me. He looked comfortable. He was a menace for Cloud9 to deal with in the backline and team fights. That's everything I wanted to see. I am extremely, extremely happy with how Blippo played this week. Can he replicate it versus the GOAT that is Impact? We will see, and we can get into that here in a second. So yeah, do you have any final notes on Cloud9 before we wrap it up?
I mean, who are they against 100 Thieves? I think they can pull back against 100 Thieves, or like...
We'll see. There's some people debating that Dig may be ramping up a little bit, but I've still got 100 Thieves favored.
I actually... There's a small crazy part of me that thinks if they face Dig, they're out.
That if Cloud9 faces Dig?
Yeah.
Really? That's Curly's hot take, Evan. Put it in there. That's actually a good hot take. I mean, hey, vibes can be hot takes. I think that's a good hot take. If Dig beats 100 Thieves, you think that Dig can beat Cloud9? I'm down. Put it in the hot take oven. That's good. All right, let's get into FlyQuest versus Team Liquid. Red says, 3-1 Fly is my prediction. T-Odd an easy 3-0 while we had to play a real team. I think we'll be more prepared and a little bit warmer. My only concern is Teal's probably 100% banning Renekton, so we need a good champ for him to play. Yeah, I would say probably pretty good notes across the board. I'm, as always, usually a little bit more pessimistic, but Curly will probably join you on the 3-1 Fly side or 3-2 Fly side. We can get into your predictions here in a second. But, no, I think in general, in regards to Blippo, yeah, I think Team Liquid is, not going to have as nearly stale drafts as Cloud9 did. So I highly, highly expect the Renekton to be banned. I do also kind of expect the Ivern to be banned. I think that was extremely frustrating for Cloud9 to deal with. I'm surprised it took him to Game 4 to ban it. I don't know. It's kind of hard to ban us a little bit. I think we're having like kind of a glow up right now in terms of champion picks, because I mean right now Masu is consistently forcing an Ezreal ban, which is massive. Inspired is currently constantly forcing a Lilia ban, which is also massive. If you're also forcing an Ivern ban and you're also wanting to ban a Renekton ban, you're not getting enough bans in the first phase. We're getting something that we really, really want. So that's really, really good going into Team Liquid. At the end, on the same front, though, Team Liquid has a bunch of picks that you're going to have to deal with, too, that you don't want to deal with. So, I guess, Curly, to start it off with, what are the main points that you're looking at when we go into this matchup?
I think the big thing for me is I think we just kind of need to keep our composure. I think we've shown that we can approach the game with a stable play style. I think we've shown that we have a strong mental and can pull it back from like literally the back, our backs against the wall. And so I think draft will play a very minimal part. I think it's going to come down to just who stays resilient and who has the better game plan, you know? I do think we've finally shaped up in our playstyle, and what I'm most excited for, if I'm being so honest, is the bot lane matchup. I have always, like, Jan is arguably the best ADC in the league right now.
So Masu himself said it today on Pros that the TL bot lane is the best laning lane in the LCS. So even he acknowledges it.
Yeah. And then I think Core JJ, who I'm always very critical of, is actually doing a real good job with Jan. Like, he's working real well with him. I hope if we pull out the lane swap to account for that, I only want it to be a maximum of twice.
Like two times in the series?
Period.
Okay.
Doesn't matter how it goes. I think we should only, if we can win both of those games, I don't think we should commit to a third one, because TL's biggest strength is adaptability. That is what clapped us when we were in spring finals. That is something they have just maintained the entirety of the year. And so we cannot do the same trick twice, or else they will figure it out and just run it against us. And then I really think we just... I can't predict it. There's like a lot of emotion in this matchup. Like, on the one hand, I'm glad this is happening now because we're making worlds, which is amazing. But at the same time, it's like, this could be the finals preview, and it's like arguably the most intense matchup we've had all year. Even though it's not finals. Like,
I really do. I really do. So here, I guess here, I really do think at this point in time, because I don't think Cloud9's mental, even if they end up making it in the third place and qualifying for Worlds, if we lose this series, cool. If we win the series, cool. I don't see Cloud9 beating either of us again, whether it be Team Liquid or FlyQuest.
No.
So
we are objectively we are the top two teams in the league, and I'd say we're like right next to each other. I think this series on Sunday really showed that.
Yeah.
It's been a long time ramping up, and then we're like, all right, guys, just in case you forgot.
Yeah, Cloud9 is going to need some form of mental reset if they actually want a chance of making it to the finals. So for the time being, I'm going to operate under the assumption we're going to get 2 FlyQuest versus Team Liquid matchups. 2 best of 5s in the period of 2 weeks, basically. So, yeah, I'm extremely excited to see what happens here. But I'm not going to fret too much about what is shown and what is used, because I really do think it's just going to be the real game plan coming out the week after.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of my current thought process on it. So, with all that said, because I do want to talk about Worlds a little bit, because that's like literally the thing down here. By the way, FlyQuest are back at Worlds, baby.
LCS isn't even over. We're ready for Worlds.
Yeah. So, because here's the thing, you and I, and when he's back, we can get hype going into finals week, because no matter what, we're there, we're qualified. Whether it's coming from the lower bracket or we're waiting to see who we're playing in the winners, most likely Team Liquid. We can get the hype on then. So just let's knock out the predictions real quick. And if you have any quick highlights on what you expect further, then cool. But I kind of want to highlight the fact that we're back at Worlds here in a second.
I'm leaning 3-2 FlyQuest, bro.
All right.
It's gonna be hard, but I think we've got momentum. To kind of I didn't even think about this at first. Red does have a point in that they face 100 Thieves, and we faced what was supposed to be a challenge. And so we arguably had a bit more of like a stress test on us, where they just had business as usual. So there is the argument of which has more value. But yeah, I think it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be great. I think both teams are going to really play just good League of Legends, I hope.
That's the dream.
I'm very hyped for it.
Yeah. What I want to see and what I'm hoping for is that the guys go into the series and they just stress test. Like, I really want them to just stress test against Team Liquid, figure out how they're feeling against another stress test team. Because don't get it wrong, we're a challenge for them too. They're gonna have to work their butts off to deal with us. So I want to stress test Team Liquid. I want them to go into finals going, okay, like no matter what, we're going to have to work for this. But I at the end of the day, I am going to lean Team Liquid. I do think Impact is performing at an ungodly level. It is crazy how good he's performing. And I think the rest of the team is just a solid 5. I think they really understand how to play as a team, whereas some of our early game issues I've noticed can be exploited a little bit. Granted, I think that's also a thing that may be fixed a little bit if Inspired's actually playing a little bit more of an aggressive playstyle, so we'll see. I'll be very curious to see what Inspired comes out this weekend. So I'm going to lean Team Liquid 3-1. I think they're going to be very strong and ready, and I think they feel confident. And I think what is going to happen next is, I need the guys to stay stable and mentally sound, prep for most likely Cloud9 again, and then you go hard into the finals. You really slam Team Liquid. You show them everything you got. You lock it down. You learn from the first series. You use the momentum from lower bracket. And then you take that dub for the first time ever. That's what I want to see. So that's what I'm hoping for in my predictions for Team Liquid. So yeah, there's all that. So Curly, did you know that this is the first time that FlyQuest is back at Worlds for the first time since 2020? It's been 4 years since this organization has made it to the international stage for Worlds.
There's a reason I'm wearing this jersey. I picked this out very thematically.
So,
dude,
yeah, I'm just so happy, man. I am so happy that this org is finally back at Worlds.
I'm ecstatic because for me, right? Because I hopped on the FlyQuest train in the off season after they were already out of Worlds, heading into 2021. And so for me, this is the first time I've had the opportunity to 100% support a team that is genuinely my team on the international stage or like at Worlds, because like MSI, they were there. Go well, but they were there. But like Worlds just always has that extra flavor.
There's a little extra prestige.
Yeah, it's like it's the event that everyone goes for. It doesn't matter like what happens beforehand. Like this is what you prepare for.
Yeah. So yeah, it's funny you were talking about it. Like for me, like because I started following the team in 2019, that Flame, Santorin, Pobelter, Wild Turtle, JJ roster. And that was what I fell in love with. So come 2020, and it's this kind of ragtag team of Viper and Santorin, Power of Evil, Wild Turtle / Mash kind of, and Ignar. And it's like, okay, I mean, they're cute and they're fun and they're fun to watch, right? But it's like you don't really expect them on paper. They're not a team making Worlds, and so I'm a fan of them. And they make this magical run. It's like, oh, okay, cool. But obviously it's middle of COVID, so. And they lose in the finals to Cloud9. It is what it is. You hit Summer, though, and you still qualify. You make it to the finals again.
Cloud9 did not.
Oh, that's true. They did not. Sorry, they make it to TSM. They lose in the finals. That's all good. But it doesn't matter because the thing is, like, we made Worlds. It's like, oh, that's so hype, man. That's so hype. And they get in the groups, and yeah, they lose 2-0 to DRX. They 2-0 Unicorns of Love. But they take a game off of Top Esports, the #1 seed in China at the time. Like... there was so much magicalness about that team at that time that like really just like it solidified me being a fan. Like we didn't start this show until 2021, but that Worlds run was what really solidified my passion for this org and why I wanted to stay a fan of this org. And that's why you, me, Sandy, we're here today. We've been doing this show for so long. Like that run to Worlds, even the run at Worlds, was just so magical. And so it's been a long, hard road. 2021 was especially rough. 2022 was a little better. 2023 was like almost there. We were like feeling it. And then there was a massive slump, but we don't need to talk about that. And then 2024 hits. And hey, man, we're looking good. We make it to MSI. That's a first. That's cool. That's hype. MSI's a bit of a little letdown, but we're on the international stage. But like at the end of the day, man, like one of the big things has always been getting back to Worlds. And the other big thing is getting an actual chip here in North America. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm hyped about that too, and that's still absolutely something I need to see, and I still want to happen for the org. But for the time being, you take your little victories one step at a time. And right now, we're celebrating the qualification, baby. We're going to Europe. We're going to Worlds. We're back. It's great! Like, we're back!
Flippo's going back to the LEC studios in Berlin, and so is Inspired and Nuke Dog.
So...
Actually, wait a second. I just thought about that. Do you think they'll have a buff compared to the other NA teams with the fact that one of our coaches and 2 of our players have played in that stadium before or that arena before?
I mean, maybe. We're also the only team. Hold on, let me think. Well, I guess if Dignitas makes it, they will have a European player in like Sven. But that's if Dignitas makes it. Otherwise, it's all the other imports are Korean. So like we are like the second, or we're like the 4th seed from Europe almost in that sense. Like we have a bit of home flavor. We got a little bit of home base action going on. We got a home stadium going for us. It's fine. It works. So yeah. Oh no, Curly. Hey, at least Curly froze this time on him laughing. We can all rejoice in that Curly left us looking very pleased and happy with his. Yeah. So. No, maybe actually that's kind of the thing. I'm going to rant for a second while I let Curly's internet come back. So maybe that's the thing that gives us a little bit of a home court advantage, is that we have multiple players and multiple staff who are all going to be like kind of used to where they're at. It's European soil, baby. They'll understand what to do, what they're looking for, how to set the guys up for success, how to feel at home, and all that good stuff. But, oh man, dude, I cannot get over how awesome it is that this org is back at Worlds. I'll be very curious to see what the matchups are. It's not like, obviously, the format's way different than it was back in 2020, and there's no longer groups or anything. So, really kind of just comes down to who are we playing first round? And that's kind of fun and exciting in itself, right? You just, who are you going to draw? And that's the fun part of Swiss. So, yeah, man, I'm extremely happy that FlyQuest is back. Catching up on chat for a second, let's see. APA can't play Azir. Oh, Curly died. That's a rip. I think he can play Azir, but there's higher priority picks. I think if it comes down to a situation where like it needs to be a takeaway pick due to like just not enough bans, like, which I mean may be a case for us, right? Like we have so many bans that need to be taken care of. I could see APA playing Azir if need be, and I think he could pilot more than fine. I don't think it's this flavor of champion or anything like that, but yeah. Curly, are you back?
The hype killed my network adapter.
Oh no! It's okay. We're here on camera or on mobile. We make it work.
We got it. We're being chillin'.
Is there? Oh, I don't know if I want to. Can I rotate? I can rotate it. Hold on. I'll rotate you. Watch this. Oh. No. Oh, okay. JK, I'll rotate you back.
Well, no. Don't rotate. Or keep rotating me because I am planning to shift. Don't you worry.
Okay, so I'm gonna rotate you. We'll do that. Transition. There you go. Oh shit! Wait. Okay. Okay. Well, now that you're that, hold on. Let me transition. Okay, we're good. We're back. Okay.
I have no idea what this looks like, by the way, so I hope it looks good.
I mean, everything I'm seeing on my end looks okay. NA production, folks. Yeah. So yeah, I was just reading chat real quick while you were gone, saying that APA can't play Azir, and I was pushing back just a tad bit, saying I think it's not his flavor of champion, but I think he can more than hold his own on it if need be, especially if it's against us. If it needs to be a takeaway from quad, I think it's absolutely on the docket for APA to be able to do. I don't think he's gonna like dominate on it or anything, but like he will be more than enough successful on it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, back to Worlds though.
Back to Worlds.
Yeah. So what I don't know what you heard from me and what you didn't hear, but basically what I was saying is that it's different than last time where there were groups was a thing and seeing who you're going to be playing in your group. This will just be drawing who you're playing first round, and so if I remember correctly, there is no seeding, or actually no, that's not true. There is seeding the first round, and it has to be against another major region, if I recall correctly. And so, say we finish third, I think you can play a first team. I'm not exactly sure how the seeding works, but basically, like if we finish third, we're not playing another third seed. If we finish second, we're not playing another second seed. If we finish first, we're not playing another first seed. So I guess with that in mind, are there any teams that you would like to see us play first round going into Worlds?
Well, I mean, Buckle kind of already said it. I would love to like hit Fnatic a little bit. I think that would be real fun.
Yeah, if we get Fnatic first, because in the words of Core JJ, hey, I like winning too. I'd like to play Fnatic.
See, if I wanted to just win, I'd say let's play Mad Lions, because like,
okay, so historically, yes, because Mad sucks at Worlds, right, or international stage in general.
No,
but
I've seen their weirdness in like the pushback in LEC, but also LEC is a
LEC looks weird and weak for one, but they actually looked kind of decent recently, despite sporting a 36% win rate for the entire year in LEC. That's a wild stat, by the way. Imagine making Worlds off of a 36% win rate. That's nuts, man. What the hell sort of format is that?
Oh, God. One that needs to be scrapped for the next year, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Or seriously reconsidered. But, man, but I think another team that I would actually really kind of like to get out of the way is, like, anyone from LPL. I'd like to, like, throw it down with the LPL from the get-go. I think it'd be fun to start off hot.
I don't think I want to play BLG first round, but I think most of the other teams, I'm down to, like, I'm down to give it a shot. I don't think it'll go well, but I'm down to give it I just don't want to play BLG because I think that would be a tad bit demoralizing with how they're playing. BLG currently is one of my favorites to win Worlds right now.
I haven't even thought about that, man. I can't wait. I got to get Pick'em's leaderboards together next month. We'll figure it out. We'll get it figured out.
But, no, I kind of agree with you. I think in general, I think T1 is beatable. I think pretty much any... maybe not HLE. HLE and Gen G are looking pretty tough.
You think T1 is beatable? Like, you think we could beat T1 or just T1 in general?
No, I think T1 in general is beatable, man. I don't think they look that great. Like, I mean, TL's already taken multiple games off of them. I think if TL clean it up, they can do it. I think if we can beat TL, we have more than enough capabilities to beat T1. So, I actually, funnily enough, I don't mind playing T1 if we hold good mental. Because obviously, like, we saw what happened when we played them at MSI, and that did not look pretty. But if we have good mental, I think they're beatable. I really do. It's still tough, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, like, long story short, I think 3rd and 4th seeds from Korea are absolutely beatable for us, so I'm cool with any of them. I think the bottom 3 or the bottom 2 of LPL are absolutely beatable, and then I don't know I think it's Top that's in the finals with BLG.
I don't know. I don't have my.
I think the top 2 LPL teams are probably just not beatable either, but I think the bottom 2 of LPL are within range of being able to take games off of or even possibly beat. Cloud says Cope. Is that because you're being a TL hater right now or an NA hater right now? There's a difference. But yeah, I think it's in the realm of possibility. There's not a realm of possibility versus Gen G, versus HLE, versus BLG, and versus TES. I don't think those are ever in any way, shape, or form going to happen for us. I'd like to avoid them for as long as possible. Oh, Weibo's in the final. Okay. So maybe it's just the bottom 4th team of LPL that makes it then. Because Weibo actually did look good now that I'm remembering properly. Because I think Top took... Oh, because it was LNG. LNG looks not great in my opinion.
This is a really fun roller coaster.
So, no, because I don't really follow LPL that closely. I've been watching enough games in the morning at work when I first show up that I've, like, kind of got a little base idea. But, no, the top 3 teams at LPL don't look that great. The 4th team, LNG, I think is totally beatable. And the bottom 2 teams of LCK are totally beatable. And in regards to LEC, hell, man, I think all 4 of those teams, or actually, I guess it's only 3 teams. All 3 of those teams are absolutely beatable, man. So, really...
I love the Wook G2. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
How satisfying that would be? Oh.
I do, yeah. I think basically there's 4 teams that I don't want, or 5 teams I don't want to touch. The top 3 of LPL, the top 2 of LCK. Anyone else, fair game, man. I really wouldn't down to play anyone. If we actually show up in our regional finals and we show that we're playing competently, I think we can do it. And same goes for TL. And then if Cloud9 goes back to regular season form and JoJo actually gets his crap together, I think they can do it too. I think the quality of NA this year looks solid. I really, really do believe that. But I think we have to show it against each other in the finals of LCS.
Oh, yeah. I find it funny because the trajectory of summer is like, man, summer's rough. And now we're like, we're the best.
It's funny how things change. It's funny how things change.
It's just that world's hype. You can't not, you know?
Yeah,
You can't help but be excited for your
you can't help but sip a little bit of copium, man. Like, normally all year long, y'all know me. I am I am a complete I'm on a diet of copium. I don't drink copium. I don't touch it. But something about when September comes around, October comes around, someone starts dropping the bottles off of my doorstep, and I'm just like, oh, a little bit won't hurt. And then I'm like over here, like 3 days later, the whole case is gone, and I've like chugged the whole thing. I am an NA copium man. Yeah, it's crazy. Curly is really quiet. Let me up Curly a little bit then.
That does make sense. I went from speaking right into a mic to
into AirPods. You missed it, Cloud. His computer completely crashed when he laughed too hard. So the previous mic settings were due to his computer, and now he's on a mobile. That's probably why.
AirPods do not equals Blue Yeti.
Yeah. So outside of that, I think that's kind of my general hopes for Worlds. I would really, really love for because do you think realistically? I'm gonna stop sipping the copium for a second here.
Okay.
Do you think that we will be able to make it to quarters, even quarterfinals? Be honest.
It'll have to really depend on how finals weekend goes.
Yeah.
But
if we get the right path.
Yes. Snapshot, yes, especially because Swiss stage is actually a really beneficial stage. It gives a lot of it gives you a lot of room for potential failure, and a lot of room to recover that the previous groups formats did not. Where if you mess up your games in week 1 and then lose your first game in week 2, does not matter what you've done, you know. But with this, every game contributes to your standing. So we might lose the first game depending on who we play, but we've still got the chance to make the comeback, you know, and rise up. And so that format alone is something that I think would benefit us. I think we can sift our way through a Swiss stage onto quarterfinals. But again, that is just my snapshot. I am full of hopium. I'm more inspired for this team than I have been all year. Even though I was really hyped when I went to spring, it was just a completely different feeling. I am full of belief for this team. We can do no wrong.
Yeah. So I think, because as a general reminder, round 1 is always best of 1, round 2 is always best of 1, and then elimination and qualification matches are best of 3. Promotion, qualification, promoted to the bracket stage, qualified, yeah, you get the point.
Qualification, yeah.
So the dream path that I'm hoping for is, and there's a tinge of realism to it too. The dream path I'm hoping for is we get a European team round 1, right? Round 2, we get one of the bottom LCK teams or the 4th place LPL team. Round 3, let's be honest, because at that point you're 2-0. You're playing probably one of the top LPL teams or one of the top LCK teams. You're not gonna get away with qualifying in the 3rd round. That's fine. What I'm hoping though is round 4, you catch someone who's either the bottom LPL team or one of the bottom LCK teams, or maybe even a lucky European team, and then you qualify from there. I'm hoping for a round 4 entry into the. I'm hoping for an NRG basically. NRG from last year. That's what I'm hoping for.
NRG can do it.
Or
NRG can do it.
Or technically, because you can get same region matchups, maybe we run into Team Liquid or Cloud9. That'd be dope too. Because I think that's still totally winnable. I mean, it wouldn't be a region kill if it's qualification. They just have to go to round 5. It's fine.
True. So then we guarantee 2 teams.
Yeah. Or at the very least, or if you get an NA team in round 4, then you get a guaranteed NA team in quarters. So I'm happy with that too, because at the end of the day, I become an NA fan when Worlds comes around. I will be a more FlyQuest NA fan than any other team, but I'm still an NA fan. So I'm hoping for an NA versus NA matchup round 4. So yeah. If you can't tell, we've entered the copium section of the show. It's very rare that I get to do this, because normally I'm the guy that's just trying to like understand how can we even get to this point. We made it to this point. Let me sip my copium. Let me drink my copium. Let me chuck my copium. I'm having a blast over here. So, yeah. I think, though, that's about pretty much everything we wanted to hit on tonight, unless there's any other major topics you wanted to hit on, though. Was there, Curly?
No, nothing from me.
I think we could probably just start wrapping it up then. So, yeah, like not an impromptu show, because this is still the normally scheduled time, but a tad bit different tonight since Sandy's still out at Italy. We will be back next week with the normal show on Twitch with Sandy, actual Flight Check podcast, not Nox and Curly Talks, because this is just us kind of talking the shit and talking with chat during the time frame too. It's not a normal podcast. Yeah, this won't be going up on Spotify or anything. The most I'll be doing is
YouTube exclusive.
Yeah, this will be like a YouTube exclusive thing. I'll end up cutting the front little intro part where Nox and Curly are frantically trying to figure out how OBS operates. So yeah, thank you to anyone and everyone who tuned in. Yeah, I will say my little shout out to Sandy. He's a great host. I feel like I suck at talking about topics and hosting at the same time. I don't know how he does it, man. This is hard.
No, you're doing great. You
appreciate
are
it.
absolutely killing it. I'm proud of you. Oh, man. My shout out. You know what? Shout out to Parker, just again. Because the first thing I DM'd him after everything, I was like, we finally did it. Like, this felt like it's a season long. He has been my reception. Parker and Shot, on the down low, outside of this, and some other Discords have been my therapist for FlyQuest, where it's the highs I DM Parker and it's the lows I DM Shot.
You got your yin and your yang. It's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. So shout out to them though. They're really cooking over there, and they are really hyped for this org. I'm elated. Shout out to FlyQuest, baby.
Yeah.
We're going to Worlds.
The last thing I will say is Pick'ems with us at Worlds. I'm working with Numi a little bit. I may have a little bit more stuff to give out than normal. So, for anyone who's watching, you should really make sure you get in on the Pick'ems, because you'll have a greater chance of getting something. And I will tell you right now, one of those somethings will be the FlyQuest Worlds jersey. That is up for grabs. That will be one of the first place prizes. But there will be other items or merchandise or just other general things that may or may not be joining. We haven't worked it out yet. It may all be going to first place. It may be spread out between second through third or something. But yeah, if you would like a chance at winning something from Worlds, make sure you get in on the Pick'ems. So yeah. With that said, I think we'll wrap it up right around here. So thank you guys for everyone who tuned in. If you're catching the VOD, thank you for watching the VOD. Yeah, I guess what are the phrases? Bite your teeth.
Bite your teeth. Don't forget
to hit your head on the nail. And Sandy, we'll see everybody soon. We will see everybody soon. Have a good one, guys.
Peace, y'all.
Hey, nailed it. Okay, cool.